Well, if you can't spell the name of your state, you're not qualified. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, I think it is.
I would have loved to have been the press officer that got that phone call. So they realized.
Oh, yeah, you really would love that.
Really remarkable. You mentioned that he raised $1.3 million yesterday.
Yeah.
But it was small donor donations that came in online. Tonight, Martha Coakley is in Washington, D.C. at a swanky Capitol Hill fundraiser, raising lots of money that they have to funnel into her campaign while he's able to do the small donor donation. And that means I think that's why you see momentum on his side.
They're very nervous, the Democrats, about this race.
Rightly so. Scott Brown is a bombshell thrown right into the middle of the health care debate. Scott Brown is going to do well, win or lose. He is going to do extremely well. And in Massachusetts, that says a lot, that a Republican is going to do well. Think what powerful message his doing well sends to, 17 or 18 Senate Democrats who are up for re-election in November. It only takes one to think twice about this mess of a health care legislation they're going to vote for.
Blanche Lincoln, are you watching?
Yes.
You know, Evan Bayh, are you watching? Ben Nelson, are you watching?
It only takes one.
Just one, or
it's
Joe
not just
Lieberman.
about being reelected, right? Some of them might say, well, I will put my vote on the line because I don't care about being reelected. I think if you're looking at this from the White House's perspective, you're thinking the country is really upset.
Yeah.
These online donations, I think probably a lot of them came from Massachusetts, but maybe across the country as well, to try to help him win, to defeat health care. And not only that, but he is a veteran, and I do think that he obviously shows a lot of leadership qualities that people want to see in a candidate.
Here's one interesting thing. The Democrats are so fearful that Brown will win, that literally they're now saying that if he does win, they're going to purposely delay his swearing in to give the Democrats more time to pass their health care bill.
Think of the power of the timing here. You've got it's a very tightly packed timing schedule. You've got the Massachusetts election, the seating of the winner, the voting of the winner, which way, and that's in doubt at this moment, negotiations between the Senate and the House, then the actual vote on health care, all compressed probably into a matter of days. Wow. It all comes together. I mean, there's real electricity here,
well,
isn't
not
it?
Only that,
Between that and Harry Reid.
Not only that, Massachusetts already changed the rules a while ago in order to have Kirk sit in this seat so that he could make this vote.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? This is Massachusetts, for heaven's sake.
But what's amazing about this would be a political earthquake. Now, I thought New Jersey was a big win for the Republicans. I mean, and the margin of victory in Virginia, a purple state, was massive for Bob McDonnell. But even if this race is close, does this not instill major fear in every Democratic candidate up for re-election?
Well, one thing it does for sure, and even if Republicans don't win this seat ultimately, what I think that it does is something very effective, which is tie up the Democrats' money defending seats that they shouldn't have to be defending.
That's a great point.
It's a terrible piece of legislation, and everybody knows it. Do you know anybody who is gung-ho for this health care reform
Latest polls, 32% approval rating. That's it.
Look, it will not cut costs. It will not allow you to keep the plan you like. It will not cut the deficit. It will add to the deficit. And there's the biggest entitlement program in several generations. Yeah. Everybody knows it's terrible legislation.
I've been asking, I really don't understand the people surrounding the president. Because, you know, we know what happened with George Herbert Walker Bush. Read my lips, no new taxes. We've been discussing this. Now I'm thinking, you know, Obama said 8 times he'd allow these negotiations to go on C-SPAN, and then he didn't follow through on his promise. So I'm thinking, why? Why wouldn't somebody around him say, this is a big mistake, you're going to be held accountable for your words?
Well, I think that they realize that if they have any hope and a prayer of getting the health care bill passed, they couldn't possibly let cameras in to look at the backroom deals when Senator Nelson gets money from Senator Reid.
Listen to what you're saying.
I know that they made the promise. And he made it 8 times.
So the American people watching the sausage being made would have would absolutely be repulsed.
And that's what he said he was going to reveal. And so you're coming up on 1 year from inauguration of last year, and you're going to have a lot of stories. And I think that people, as they look at this first year of this president, who a lot of people had a lot of hope for, are disappointed.
There's a poll that shows a plurality say that he's failed.
Well, we are assuming that he is surrounded by political geniuses. That is an incorrect assumption. On many occasions, their political judgment is shown to be pretty bad. And this is another example.
Because their campaign judgment was pretty solid.
Yes.
But that's interesting. But campaigning and governing is a completely different thing. And you realize that you can say a lot of things on the campaign trail that you can't do when you get to be president. Anything from something like letting C-SPAN cameras in to closing Guantanamo Bay.
He could have taken a stand. This is what I would imagine. If I had made a promise like that and I was president, never happened. But if I was president, I had made a promise 8 times on the campaign trail I would go to Reid and Pelosi and say, I'm going to tell the American people, put it on camera, and I would just stick to my promise. I don't know. Why is that so complicated?
You'd really want to see the kind of bribery that went
Yes.
on, the
I
arm
would.
twisting.
Yes.
You, as president,
Sure.
you would allow your party
that's
to
the
show
point.
this in public? Never.
Because you shouldn't be bribing
Of course not.
senators with taxpayer
But
money.
it happened, and you really don't want to let the public see it.
So in other words, it got so despicable and so corrupt that you can't fulfill that other promise.
Those are your
But
words.
their answer to that
Despicable
is that it's always been this way.
Well, is that not corrupt?
Look, I've got a tremendous sense of excitement that this awful piece of legislation is in real trouble. And the
I don't
Massachusetts
see
election
it.
is what it's all
Give
about.
me the name of the Democrat that's going to say no. I don't see it.
That I don't know. I'm not as inside politics as you are. But looking at this election that's coming up, look at the time frame.
Oh, it's amazing.
My
I'll
goodness
give you a
me.
fork next week and you can stick a fork in it.
Promise?
Yeah.
Do you see any way this gets stopped?
I think there's a chance.
Yes, there is a chance here.
All right. I hope I come on the next time you guys are on, or the next 2 weeks, and say you were right, I was wrong, and I'll send you both to Ruth's Chris to celebrate my tax savings.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give the money to your stomach. All right.
What do we have to do if we lose?
I'll tell you next week.